Today is Tuesday, October 10th. We'll explain how war is escalating in the Middle East and how it's dividing some people here in the U.S. Also, what to know about the independent presidential candidate who is seen as a threat to both Democrats and Republicans. Plus, why the most populous state in the U.S. just enacted what's being called a Skittles ban. Which sports are likely added to the Olympics when they come to L.A. And Amazon's second big sales event of the year kicks off today. Those stories and more news to know next. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. Well, we start again today with a conflict the whole world is watching. Israel is now in an all-out war with the Islamist group that controls Gaza, Hamas. The U.S. considers Hamas a terrorist organization, and after its largest and deadliest raid against Israel in decades over the weekend, the Israeli military has been pounding Gaza with aerial attacks in retaliation. And then Hamas escalated things even more yesterday, saying every time Israel bombs a civilian house without warning, an Israeli hostage would be killed and it would be broadcast. Remember, Hamas fighters kidnapped an estimated 150 hostages from Israel over the weekend, including women and children. Civilians have also been killed on both sides. The overall death toll now is growing, with more than 1,600 people confirmed killed. Also this morning, Israel's military says it found the bodies of about 1,500 Hamas militants, but it's not clear if those numbers overlap with the previously reported deaths. Millions of civilians are being impacted in other ways, too. Yesterday, Israel's defense minister ordered a complete siege of the Gaza Strip. More than 2 million Palestinians live in Gaza, which has already been under an Israeli blockade for the last 16 years. But now Israel isn't allowing electricity, food, water, or fuel in. Plus, Israel bombed the headquarters of the private Palestinian telecommunication company, impacting landline telephone, internet, and mobile phone services. And now Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is warning of a long war that will change the Middle East for generations, while Hamas has also said it's ready for a long battle ahead. Hamas has actually long called for the total destruction of Israel. And some Palestinian groups have said this whole conflict was predictable since a peace process has been frozen for nearly a decade. But Israel and Western countries like the U.S. say nothing justifies the intentional mass killing of civilians. So what now? Well, the Israeli military has called up an unprecedented 300,000 reservists, which some see as a sign Israel may be planning a ground war. There's also a chance the fighting could spread to other parts of the Middle East. The United States is already deeply involved in the Middle Eastern conflict. President Biden announced at least 11 Americans have been confirmed killed. More are missing. And Biden says it's likely American citizens have also been taken hostage by Hamas. So the State Department says it's been in close contact with families and the Israeli government. Also, the U.S. is offering Israel help in the form of intelligence, surveillance, and weapons, though American troops are not being sent in. President Biden is planning to give a speech about this situation in the Middle East this afternoon. Meanwhile, the conflict seems to be dividing many Americans. Supporters of both Israelis and Palestinians have been rallying across the U.S. this week, and police in several American cities have started sending extra officers to protests. They've also been increasing security at potential targets like mosques, synagogues, and consulates. And there's been extra security at the United Nations headquarters in New York City, but that hasn't stopped protesters from trading violent threats outside. Though other Americans are showing their support more quietly, holding vigils for those killed overseas. Presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has decided to drop his Democratic bid for president, but he's re-entering the 2024 race as an independent. And as Politico reports, RFK Jr. is poised to be the most threatening independent presidential candidate in more than 2 decades. RFK Jr. actually has a mix of liberal and conservative policy positions. He's also known for supporting certain conspiracy theories. For example, that vaccines cause autism, that chemicals in the water are making people transgender, that Republicans stole the 2004 presidential election, and that the CIA killed his uncle, former President John F. Kennedy. Whether voters agree with those theories or not, analysts say RFK Jr. could benefit from the fact that a lot of voters aren't happy with the likely nominees from the 2 major parties, President Biden and former President Trump. And since 2024 is expected to be another tight race, even a small shift in votes in either direction could end up affecting the outcome of the whole election. RFK Jr. now has to work to get on the ballots in all 50 states. And he has to convince voters to ignore criticism that's coming from many Republicans, Democrats, and even his own family. 4 of Kennedy's siblings released a statement yesterday to denounce his candidacy, calling it, quote, dangerous to our country. To be continued. When the Olympics come back to the United States, they might include a lot more sporting events than usual. The organizers of the 2028 Los Angeles Games now say they want to include baseball and softball, cricket, flag football, lacrosse, and squash. And the International Olympic Committee is expected to give the final green light. The IOC's executive board is reviewing the proposal now, and it could vote as soon as next week. This is all happening because of recent IOC reforms that say Olympic hosts can propose adding their own sports. In 2020, Tokyo added baseball, softball, karate, skateboarding, sport climbing, and surfing. For Paris 2024, skateboarding, sport climbing, and surfing were approved again, and breaking or breakdancing will make its Olympic debut. All right, we have more news for you still coming up. But first, a quick break for our sponsor, Lumi. I am so excited to tell you about it because it's my favorite new deodorant. Again, it's called Lumi, and it's a uniquely formulated pH-balanced deodorant. It's aluminum-free, paraben-free, skin-safe, and clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours. In fact, while I mostly use it for my underarms, it is a whole-body deodorant if you want it. It's the first of its kind. So that means it's seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, feet, belly buttons, and beyond. The truth is, the deodorants that I've loved in the past just were not working for me anymore, so I needed something new. And I found it. Unlike some deodorants that try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes that are both perfect for on the go, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off a Lumi starter pack with the code NEWSWORTHY at LumiDeodorant.com. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack when you visit LumiDeodorant.com and use the code NEWSWORTHY. That's Lumi, L-U-M-E, deodorant.com with the code NEWSWORTHY. Today, you might want to make a little extra time for self-care. It's World Mental Health Day. The whole point is to create awareness about mental health, mental illness, and mental wellness. So how are people marking this day? Some suggestions include checking in with people you care about, volunteering or contributing in other ways to organizations that support mental health, or get help yourself if you need it. You might also hear from celebrities about this topic today. For example, rapper Megan Thee Stallion is encouraging young people to talk about mental health as part of a new public service announcement. There's also a World Mental Health Day festival happening in New York City that includes speakers like Carson Daly, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle. And concerts are being held in cities around the world in the name of mental health advocacy and awareness. And to that point, if you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, there is free help available. You can call or text 988 anytime. California is becoming the first state in the country to ban certain ingredients found in popular candies, drinks, cereal, and more. Governor Gavin Newsom signed the bill that bans the manufacture, sale, or distribution of 4 food additives, and that could impact 12,000 products. The chemicals already are not allowed in the European Union and many other countries because of research that has linked them to cancer, reproductive issues, and behavioral and developmental problems in children. But critics of California's new ban have argued if the FDA says the additives are okay, then California should too, rather than creating a patchwork of inconsistent requirements state to state. And the FDA has deemed the chemical safe in small amounts. By the way, the bill has been known as the Skittles ban because an earlier version also targeted a coloring agent that's used in candies like Skittles, Starbursts, and Sour Patch Kids. But that part was actually taken out, so the candies will not be banned. In fact, supporters say no products will be banned. Food companies will just have to modify their recipes and switch to different ingredients. The new law goes into effect in 2027. The genetic testing service 23andMe is now being sued over a recent data breach. Just a few days ago, hackers started selling information on crime forums. One shared database includes the details of 1 million people who have any kind of Jewish heritage. A second contains information about 300,000 people with Chinese heritage. They include names, locations, and genetic ancestry results. 23andMe says the information is legitimate, but that it was not necessarily hacked, that hackers might have been able to get user passwords from elsewhere. And then they could have exploited a popular option for 23andMe customers called DNA Relatives. It lets people search for other customers who might even be a distant genetic match. And with that, a single account can actually see the accounts of thousands of others. But a proposed class action lawsuit filed yesterday says whether there was a hack or not, 23andMe still does not have adequate safeguards, putting its users at risk. Either way, an investigation is still underway. And 23andMe is now encouraging people to change their passwords and use two-factor authentication to keep anyone else from logging in under their name. Amazon's second big sales event kicks off today. It's called Prime Big Deal Days, and it's similar to July's Prime Day. At times, shoppers can expect new deals every 5 minutes. There's also a newly launched holiday shop to promote deals for holiday gifts. And if you're looking to support small businesses through this, you can look for the Small Business Badge on Amazon or use that in the search filter. Now keep in mind, you do need to be an Amazon Prime member to get these discounts. If you're not, but still want to take advantage of the sale, Amazon does offer a 30-day free trial. And of course, Amazon competitors also have sales and discounts around the same time. Think Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and more. If you want to know more about where to look, the best things to buy now and what to wait on, and other smart shopping and saving strategies, check out our special edition Saturday episode from last weekend. Look back in your podcast feed for Saturday's episode or click the link in our episode notes. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Trivia Tuesday, when we ask a different trivia question every week. But first, thanks to our sponsor today, Copilot. One of the things I've always liked about workout classes is that I don't have to plan any sort of workout myself. But often, life happens, and getting there to the class on a regular basis can sometimes feel sort of impossible. But getting back to consistently working out has finally happened thanks to the Copilot app. I am so impressed at the care my Copilot trainer has put toward our conversations, messages, and the workouts she has created just for me, my body, and my lifestyle. Suddenly, working out consistently is doable. And anytime something isn't feeling right or I have a question, I'm amazed at how quickly she responds and adjusts my workouts as needed. And I love that it's getting the benefits of personal training without a hefty price. I'd love for you to follow my lead to get fit and feel fabulous. Give Copilot a try to find out why it was listed by Forbes as the top-rated personal trainer app of 2023. Head to go.mycopilot.com/newsworthy to get a 14-day free trial with your own personal trainer. That's go.mycopilot.com/newsworthy to get a free 14-day trial with your very own personal trainer. Take a back seat and let Copilot help you reach your fitness goals. Okay, now back to Trivia Tuesday. Today's trivia question is, which business tycoon is behind the number 5 perfume? You can play along with us in our weekly roundup email that comes out each Friday. Simply sign up to get it at thenewsworthy.com/email or find the link in today's episode notes. As for last week's trivia question, when was Nintendo founded? The answer is 1889. Of course, at that point, it wasn't exactly the gaming giant it is today. At first, the company sold playing cards and manufactured its own card games. Eventually, it expanded into other non-card games and toy production. And then, in 1975, Nintendo began the development of its first electronic video game systems. Soon after, in 1980, Nintendo created a groundbreaking game, Donkey Kong. Over the next few decades, Nintendo created more loved characters and popular games and consoles. And it's still, to this day, considered an industry leader. All right, thank you so much for joining us and listening. We'll be back with another news roundup tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.